Hello, everybody. This is the story behind the song He Said from my album I Guess I'm Not Alone. I love this song. I love the music. I love the lyrics. I love singing along with it. It makes me so happy. And I probably shouldn't say all that stuff because it is my song, but that's the way I feel. So the song itself was one of the first ones I started working on in these sessions. And the sessions were the ones that I started with Everybody Hates You. But this was one of the first songs I was working on. And I had this music with this little guitar melody and these drums, and it ran through the whole song. And it was this upbeat, fun little jaunt that kind of felt like it was moving all the time. And I really liked it. I just didn't know what I was going to do with it. And so as I was working on it and I liked it, I thought I better write some lyrics. And so I was to the point where I thought the melody should change and we should go into a kind of chorus idea. And so I stopped it and played it over and started listening to it. And the first thing that popped into my head was, he said, "Be careful what you wish for." And so then I thought, that's an interesting thought to have. So I stopped it and thought, well, where am I going with this? Because that's how my mind works. I was going into a storyline. Like, who's he? Is it me speaking to the audience? Is I'm just an observer listening to this conversation? Or am I hearing this person talk to me? So what was it? And so I kept singing that line, and then I came up with the next line. He said, "You never know what you'll get." And I said, okay, I know this guy. This is a cynical guy, and he is speaking to me. And so we're going to see where we go with it. Because the music was so upbeat, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. And then I came up with the next lines that just kept going with that idea of him saying to me these rather cynical things, or the reality of how life really is. And then when I got to the chorus, which was moving, like the music, I said, felt like it was moving. And then I came up with, so where do you want to go to, and how do you want to get there, and what do you want to know? Because now that we're together, we got past the cynical thing. Now you know what reality is, and now, so here we are together. So where do you want to go? And then I realized I was talking about someone specifically. From when I was like 17, I had this clandestine relationship with this dude, and he had this really hot car, this Camaro Z with rally sport options, and I always once said, we should get in that car and go to California. We should just leave and go. And so that was the inspiration. Then I knew what I was talking about, and this cynicism of him saying these things, but also saying, oh, it's okay, we're together. And the person, me, or whoever is hearing those words, is actually not upset about that. It's totally fine. Yes, let's go and let's learn about things and let's do things. And I love that idea of a relationship starting that way, instead of like saying it's all wine and roses. Like, maybe a lot of relationships would last better if you knew what the reality was you were getting into. And actually, that person that I'm singing about, he was never that eloquent. He would have never said any of those words. It's all fictitious. But reflecting now, I think I married that dude. I married the reality guy that said, this is how things are. But thank God we're together, and it worked, because someone who's more realistic can keep me from floating up in the air, which I tend to do quite a bit. So I think there's a little bit of Alfred in the song as well. The lyrics also, it has some of my favorite lyrics I've written. I think they're all very clever. But two of my favorites stem from, I like this idea of a woman, a strong female singer, singing "Don't mess with me" or "I'll mess with you." And then on the other side of that, I like when this strong dude can be more self-deprecating and aware of things and can bring that down. I like that thing. And so one of the lines, I don't know if I thought of that when I wrote the line, but I like the line, he said, "I'm never going to be the one who make them drop to my feet, but that doesn't mean you and I can't get together, because that would be so sweet." And I'm like, I love those lines. Those two lines are so clever to me and seem realistic, and I just love them. Every time I hear them, I kind of turn it up. So I hope you do too. So after all of that was written and everything was done in my mind, then I made the other album, and then I went back to I Guess I'm Not Alone. And because this song, I knew what it was about by then, and I loved the song. And so when we started mixing the album and re-recording stuff, I asked Devin Tait if he wanted to work on any songs, and he wanted to work on He Said, and I was really happy. And so I gave it to him, and he did so much to it. It became not a completely different song. Like, the melody's all there. I sing the same thing. It's all the same things, but he added all this great stuff. And one of the first things he did, I guess, was he had his brother come in and play guitar, Brandon Strecker, and who, by the way, Brandon Strecker also mastered the entire I Guess I'm Not Alone album. So they're a very talented family. But so he had his brother come in and he added all this other music, and he did these really cool things where he would turn the music, he would bring it down so that the vocal was isolated right before he got into this chorus thing. And when he did that on the first verse, and the end of the first verse is He Said, I Guess I'm Not Alone. And with him isolating that, making that line pop out, I'm like, that is a really great line. And in fact, that is kind of what this whole album is about, is I Guess I'm Not Alone. Like, despite everything that's all around us, there's still people together. We're still doing something together in a way. And so I came up with this song title because of a line from He Said, but also because Devin isolated that and really made it pop out and made me stand out for it. So I guess Devin's kind of responsible for the album title. The other thing that Devin did with this music and the mix that I never thanked him for, but at the end of the song, in the original version, I was doing this big he and said, and the way it was going was kind of flowing because I needed to get to the end of the song. And what he did was he kept those big he's in, but he took down my saids. And you'll never hear the original, but he did it, and it made it so much better than what I had and what I would have missed in a mix. I would have kept it the way I did it, and so I never thanked him for that because it really made it sound really cool. I want to mention also the song ends with the doo-doo-doos because there wasn't a full-on chorus like with repeated lyrics, so that was kind of a way to end the song. And in my mind, because they were driving and taking off, then that was just them going off into the sunset or what have you, singing together and singing the song. So that is all of my story about the song He Said. Oh, except for, I want to mention that I said I like the song a lot, but I found that I'm getting really good feedback on this song, and one of them was from my aunt. I sent CDs to relatives for Christmas, and my aunt actually contacted me and said that this was her favorite song. And I noticed on SoundCloud or Reverb Nation, one of those listening websites, that is the most played song off of this album. So that's interesting and good for me and good for Devin because he worked on it so hard and did everything for it. And with that, I actually have Devin kind of in cyberspace, but he's going to come and talk to you and tell you his thoughts on He Said. So here's Devin, and thank you.
Hello, I'm Devin Tait, and we're going to the story behind the song for Bradley Jacobson's He Said off the album I Guess I'm Not Alone. So Bradley first approached me with this song a while back, and I thought it sounded really great, but he had used a guitar loop for kind of the bass of the song, and I thought it would sound better with actual live acoustic guitar. So I had my brother, Brandon Strecker, record a guitar track for the song. And then I embellished it with some different little synthesizer parts. There's kind of the one that goes, reminds me of Lucky Star by Madonna, because I wanted to give this an 80s vibe. So that is my story behind the song He Said. I think Brad did a great job with it, and it turned out really great. So I hope you enjoyed it too.